Hello and welcome. I'm back. I was away for a week, did a trip, a very much needed sojourn of my own out to Arizona, Sedona, Arizona. Very spiritual, very energetic place on the earth. So I've been very blessed and fortunate to have that opportunity to be able to be in that part of the world at the specific time in on the planet as we are going through a massive energetic shift, and I felt it, but I was in my own little energetic bubble all last week. But I was feeling collective energy, and I do want to do a reading on that for everyone before I get into doing the zodiac this week. I want to mention that we just had the new moon in Gemini, which was big and powerful energy that, in my opinion, allowed us to really see the duality within ourselves, what parts of ourselves were fighting another part of ourselves. And you may still be experiencing this energy now. At the same time, Saturn, who is in Pisces, stations retrograde. So now we have Saturn in retrograde in Pisces, and we're leading up to the solstice energy in about 2 days as I'm doing this reading. The sun in a square with Neptune. So I'm not going to go deep into the astrology. I'm just going to give you the bare basics of what I'm understanding astrologically, and we're going to just jump right into a collective reading for us all. I want to mention Saturn, and Saturn specifically now stationed retrograde in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces alone is very conflicting. Pisces energy wants to flow, wants to be free, wants to be fluid, and Saturn is structured, our senses of responsibility, taking care of ourselves, taking care of the things that we need to. Saturn is also the Lord of Karma, but Saturn is Father Time. So maybe your perception of time has been a little off. I know mine has. But now that Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, we get a chance to really reflect on what we have, what we have been doing as far as taking care of ourselves, taking care of our life path, the actions, the steps that we take. Did we make the right choices? What was the motive behind some of the, where you're at right now, either with your work, with your home life, with what you're responsible for? Are you feeling a sense of freedom within that? Or have you boxed yourself in again into another space? And now we get to do the reflection, the review of this Saturn in Pisces retrograde is kind of a reality check. It's a realization of where my mind has been, and we'll get into Neptune in a minute because the brain fog has been real for many, and that will be ending soon as Neptune moves into retrograde. But let's get back to Saturn and Jupiter in a sextile to Saturn as I'm speaking here. So this realization, these are going to be coming up probably all week or all month or all the rest of, I think Saturn, I didn't check the transits, but we've got some time of this retrograde here to, we've already planted the seeds into spaces and places and ideals in our lives that we felt were correct for us as far as our responsibilities, as far as taking charge of our lives. And now we get to see, did we make the right choices? Did we use the right discernment? Do we feel good about the choices and decisions we've made in the past leading up to this point? So you may be having a lot of realizations and reflections on that as well. That new moon in Gemini, seeing the duality within us. These are another reality check, deep realizations on our behaviors, our actions, our thoughts. Gemini, Mercury ruled, the mind, our perception, our communications. So we're getting to see like the Jekyll and Hyde of ourselves within life. And we're moving into the solstice, which is a whole nother turn of events. So this is really, really fascinating time to be alive on the planet. We've got some sextiles. We got Jupiter in a sextile to Saturn. So Jupiter is expansive. It's also higher learning, wisdom. A sextile, it is rewarding, but there are challenges to get to that reward. So it's not just, Jupiter is the planet, the benefic planet of gifts, but in a sextile, specifically to Saturn, is you've got to go through, you've got to do the inner work, you've got to go through some hoops to get to that benefit. So we're going to start this reading off, and I just want to say hello to everybody. I really do miss doing these readings. I took a whole week off, and I did one personal reading last week for a friend of mine for her birthday, but aside from that, I had not really touched the cards except for my own personal morning readings. But I picked up this deck while I was in Sedona, the Shamanic Healing Oracle cards. And whenever I'm picking out decks, I don't personally pick them out. I kind of walk through and something pops out at me, it speaks to me, and that's what I end up picking. Another thing that I picked out for myself while in Sedona is a Moldavite ring. Moldavite is a powerful stone that actually is not really a stone. It is from an asteroid. It's very rare. And I had my eye on it last year when I was in Sedona, and I did not purchase it. But the same woman that I had met with last year remembered me. Well, she said she remembered me anyway from last year. Anyway, it's been an interesting time for myself in my own journey, my own healing and self-awareness journey. So let's get started with the energy for the collective at this time. Oh, I want to mention one more thing before I get started. I did post on Facebook. I don't know how many of you follow me on Facebook. That information is in the description box below if you would like to, because sometimes I dabble in, whatever I'm called to, whatever social media platform I'm called to. I shared a photo of the Schumann resonance chart, which is still peaked at 190 hertz. And it has been, something happened, not last night, but the night before, at least where I was. It could be daytime for wherever you guys are in the world, but there was a blackout, and then suddenly the reading on the chart just went completely haywire and shifted, where you were reading the color codes, the bursts vertically, they're now going horizontally. So something shifted, something really major has changed. So let's get into the collective energy first. I hope that you are all doing well. I know that this is an exciting time for many of us. I do feel the energetic charge. I would not be sitting here doing a reading if I wasn't feeling it, because I literally did not get home until early this morning as the sun was coming up. So I haven't had very much sleep, but the sleep that I got was enough apparently, because I'm feeling a lot of supportive energy. I'm feeling very energetic right now. So, and I do know that a lot of people who have been riding this wave, and again, it also depends on what planets and points and locations you have, Pluto, Saturn, where your birth chart is mapped out, how you're going to be experiencing these energies, and how you're going to be experiencing the energies, basically. I want to bring up Neptune again. As Neptune is moving to station, we will, the brain fog will be lifted. So there's going to be a lot more clarity coming along the way for many as well. So let's get started with the collective reading. I'm going to start with the shamanic healing. See what messages want to come through for us all. I know that a lot of people have felt this burst or change in the energy that the Schumann resonance is reflecting to us. I don't quite understand it. This is one of those wait and see energies. We also have had solar flaring again over the course of last week, including today. We're still getting them. So lots of energy, lots of changes, lots of reflection for us all. So let's get started. For the collective. Okay, we have sexual energy, which is a very powerful energy, our creative energy, the sacral chakra. I am going to read this one from the book. I'm going to pull a couple more cards before I do. What I'm getting here also, Mars in Leo and Venus in Leo. While I was in Arizona, and most likely here in wherever you are in the world, you could see Mars and Venus together, even though they're not in a tight conjunction, and they are separating. That energy has been powerful. Sexual energy. Our creative energy. Movement into balance. Masculine, feminine energies within us may also be playing in the world stage as gender or as energetic, because again, most of us carry dominant masculine energy, distorted masculine energy still from decades and years of patriarchal systems, stripping illusions. Yeah, we're going to have a lot more clarity. The illusions are going away. Psychic development at the bottom. So I feel that. I've got the chills all over. Let's start with sexual energy. I'm surprised duality did not come out, but I'm actually grateful that duality did not come out. That, I feel like that had been culminating within all of us leading up to the new moon in Gemini, which was only a day or two ago, depending on where you are in the world. In the purest sense, sexual energy is not an energy to be expanded from you. It is a state to reside in. The first and second chakras are the root of our sexual feelings. When you use this very potent energy to manipulate people and situations, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. When you expand your life force energy up from the first two chakras and incorporate the energy from your heart and your crown, you can experience the most complete and divine experience of sexual energy possible. This doesn't have to include another person. When you can merge your connection to Creator with your connection to the earth without any filters or blocks between the two, you will experience a complete and true connection. This is very true. We act as the conduit between heaven and earth. And when we can put ourselves into this energy at any given time, we are not tempted to use our sexual energy in a way that feeds our needs for validation. Nor are we easily manipulated by another's outputting of sexual energy. This card is asking you to look at where sexual energy is directed in your life. How are you utilizing your sexual energy? And this does not necessarily mean that you have to be sexually active with another partner. This is your creative energy from the sacral chakra. The first two, the root and the sacral, combined with the heart and the crown. That's a union of self with Creator, with source energy. we have also been programmed into distorted sexual energy through media, pornography, just the way that we're taught about our reproductive and sexual energy. Collectively, I'm not saying individually. Movement into balance. We are moving into more of a balance and not giving our energy away, our power away to manipulative energies. And stripping illusions. We don't need the book anymore. Stripping away illusions. This is that clarity that we're all starting to see. The duality within us. How we have, what our intentions are behind every action, every word, everything that we say and do and think. And most certainly our psychic development as a collective is on the rise. Now, when this happens, because we live in a world of duality, on the rise will also be the forces and energies that are developed and built to make us not trust our intuition and just ourselves in general. So pay attention to where you hadn't trusted your innate natural abilities. And why is that? Okay. Okay, well, also, in this energy, there are a lot of things that we deeply know. Internally, we know that high priestess energy, that innate knowing. However, also seeing the flip side of our internal knowing is the programmed aspect of ourselves, our ancestral patterning as well, and being able to see how we actually have not been doing ourselves any justice because we were still operating, we've still been operating on old programs, that old patterns that still continue to come up for each other. But now having that knowing, that awareness of actually being able to see the self and see where we have maybe not made smart and wise choices for ourselves, but stuck with the status quo, or stuck with habitual patterning, ancestral patterning. Let's keep going here. A lot of messages coming through right now. Growth. We're growing through understanding the duality of our sexual energy or our creative energy. Sexual energy is not the act of rubbing skin together, basically. This is a deep connection to our Creator through our physical bodies. Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. Loneliness came out with movement into balance. And as we all know, loneliness has been the card that continues to come up in every reading. Loneliness is an epidemic in this world. It has been for a long time. And even the loneliness, feeling lonely while being surrounded by others. That is that separation from source, separation from our innate senses of connection to everything and everyone. We're moving into balance there. I know I'm never alone. This deep desire for connection, for true connection to others is really powerful. And it's powerful for a reason, for change, growth. Something's got to change. What have you been asking yourself? What have you been putting your focus and your attention and your energy into? Is it towards harmony and unity with all? Or is it still out of survival and more of a for the self, individualized, independent? Thank you. Independence has been. It's great to be an independent person. I strongly agree with that, but to a degree. If I don't open myself up to asking for help when I need help, or wanting to create with others and just solely be independent in all that I do, I'm separating myself from the potential of connecting deeply to others. And I'm not talking about just myself. This is all of us. It has been glorified to be an independent person, specifically for, men and women alike. And that has been to our detriment. Because just like animals who operate, who run in flocks, in herds, in swarms, in schools, because they work together in confluence. We humans are the same way. We are social creatures. We are exactly designed the same way. We have been programmed and conditioned to be independent and separate from each other and separate from source consciousness. Okay, so this is coming to a closer balance, and I'm getting, as we get closer to the tipping point of the solstice, this is going to be greatly realized and recognized for many. All right, happiness at the bottom with psychic development. There's a deep awareness of our senses and our feelings. And, if you're still stuck in a situation where you're not happy, this is greatly felt as the psychic development and the inner knowing and the realizations are at an all-time high. Now we have imagination with stripping away illusions. And I feel like Neptune is responsible for a lot of this energy that I'm speaking of. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. There's been a lot of people that have been sort of in a fantasy or fantastical world, and it doesn't have to be a good fantasy either. It is the stories that our mind tells us, the stories, the illusions that we buy into, emotionally, mentally, physically. And that energy had been expanded and expanded, where people were really losing themselves. And sometimes we have to lose ourselves to find ourselves. So it is part of the journey. Don't be hard on yourself when you realize, when the illusions are stripped away, that I let my imagination take over a little bit too much in certain situations, either within relationships are coming up very big, situations, political situations, social situations, economic situations. It's a lot. So overall, this is about happiness. I am aware that being happy means that I am on the right path. If you are not feeling happy, dive deep. I don't think you have to even do an intentional deep dive. I feel like the energy is taking us deep, because that unhappiness is so strong in those who are still playing in energy that it's time to let go. This energy has been all about letting go of illusions, letting go of what is not working for you, what is not serving you anymore. You've learned the lesson. You get it now. You understand, I am not happy in what I'm participating in, whatever that may be for you. And with the psychic development really peaking, that innate inner knowing is very strong, and the guidance, the steps to take to move towards where the soul is calling us is extremely powerful right now as well. So okay. We're gonna pull a moon card, okay. Going all over the place here. So, but I know that in the last month or so, there have been a lot of people who have this realization, this knowing, I know I'm not happy. I'm actually lashing out at people. I'm not, I'm seeing the dark side or the shadow side of me, the duality of me. I know why it is this way, but I just don't know what to do. Not taking the steps or the actions to course correct, because there's still fear, because there's still programming, there's still fear instilled in moving towards what would feel better. This is literally Stockholm Syndrome, where the gates are open, but not many are actually venturing out into the unknown, because inside the gate, I know what I'm working with in here. I'm not happy in this gate, but I know what I'm working with. I don't know what's out there. There's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of stories and fear programming of others who have ventured out there that are suddenly like, I don't know, homeless, not like they lost their minds. I don't want to do that. But then you see the flip side of people living their dream. It's all an illusion. Follow your heart, follow your happiness, follow your desires. Okay, so this is just reiterating, what do you need to release? This is reiterating the letting go energy that is still very strong. What do you need to let go of? What do you need to release? There is a giant release valve that is open for the taking. So ask yourself, what do I need to release? What do I need to let go of so that I can feel better? Be happy. Something's got to change. And that pressure is so strong. Now we still will have the north and south node. Now the lunar nodes are going to be changing very soon, in just a few weeks. So this energy, the Scorpio energy of the south node of our past, is powerful. Powerful. It's pulling us back, that fear. It's also pulling us back to end. Scorpio, death and rebirth, transformation. Many people are going through a transformation, but you got to keep going back to the south node to realize, like, no, I no longer belong here. I no longer want to participate in my old energy, in that old energy, in this old experience. I'm done. North node, the big pull, because what do you got to lose at this point? I'm not happy where I'm at. I'm not happy. This is also reviewing ourselves from the past and accepting and loving who we've been, the choices we made in the past, learning from them, and letting go of the guilt, the shame, the blame. Very important too. You cannot carry that with you. I mean, you can, but you're going to keep getting pulled back to the past. If you carry that with you, it will block you. It will hinder you. Oh boy. All right. We've got the universe. We've got the light. And we have material and spiritual prosperity. So when we allow the universal forces to work through us and work for us, and we connect to the light within, the light that is working with us, we can balance that out. We can actually co-create with source, with spirit, and you will see your manifestations come true. Mine did. Mine have. But it takes work. It takes effort. It takes getting out of the mind a lot of times and trusting, believing the flow of energy. Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. Okay. And from the past, where we were moving from, suffering in silence with the loneliness card. I feel like a lot of people are still feeling that tension and that suffering, that pressure of really desiring and needing the soul family, the soul tribe. This may not be your actual biological family, but understanding and knowing there are others on this planet that are just like you, that have the same energetic blueprint as you. And when we combine that together, it is a powerful force, a powerful force. So do no longer stay suffering in silence when it comes to the need. We all have that need to connect to our soul family. Moving into balance. We first need to balance within ourselves so that our energy is in alignment with those that are of the same energetic blueprint. We've been doing a lot of self-work, but it is also, we're migrating into, collective unity. Now, it's not going to be the entire collective all at once. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? But it's not. But understanding that I have to bring myself to balance first before I really can truly connect and attract to me those who are of resonance with my energy, where we are able to be fully just transparent and real, and flourish with our growth and expansion here. Co-creating with source energy. So yeah, there's been a lot of, Tower. Okay, stand your ground at the bottom. Yes, Tower. Deep realization of how Stockholm Syndrome right there, how I've kept myself trapped in fear. That illusion is being stripped away, that created that fear to begin with. And through the imagination now is the realization of because I was so robotically programmed into believing one specific thing that kept me stuck, trapped in fear. This disruption, cracking people open, big realization. I've made the wrong choices. I've made the wrong decisions for myself. Now, it's not right or wrong because, again, that's a huge lesson. It's a huge understanding, and it is part of the growth and expansion of the journey. So, again, don't beat yourself up. Don't carry any guilt, shame, blame with you going forward. Stand your ground. Love begins. Third eye chakra below that. Stand your ground on your deep, innate knowing. Okay? We're already at 33 minutes. Let's, for the collective, we're going to pull from the Oracle of the Seven Energies to wrap this up. And I'm going to get started on the zodiac for the week. So please be patient with me as I roll those out this week. I did have a whole week off, but I still received the messages, so they will come through. Advice for us all. Oh. Neptune is also in a sextile to Pluto, the planet of transformation. So, with some challenging, fantastical, or illusory energy comes clarity, but you've got to go with it. You got to go deep into it to get the benefits, to get the because Pluto wants us to expand. Pluto is not a bad planet. It just, to us who have been so heavily programmed and conditioned here on Earth, Pluto can really rock our world big time. But it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, actually. When you jump out of that trapped energy into, that's too many. Let's see what came through. Imperfect harmony and healing the heart. All right, I'm guided to do both. Let's get back to it. Stockholm Syndrome. The door's open. The door is open. Are you going to walk out, or are you going to stay in there because there's still fear that's kept you in this box, in this container, in this jail cell? All right, we're going to start with healing the heart for a collective. When you are wounded emotionally, you need time to regroup and find your center. You may have recently endured a breakup or betrayal, lost someone close to you, or lost an affiliation that you gave too much power to. Perhaps you're watching someone go through a difficult time and feel bad that you can't help them. Maybe you're still not over a past disagreement. No matter the cause of this heartache, deep healing is called for. This happens on its own timetable. It can never be rushed. The path to healing the heart centers on reciprocity, the flow of giving and receiving. Sometimes wounding occurs because, sorry, I had to stand up. Sometimes wounding occurs because we've become too dependent on another. And this is accompanied by the desire to manipulate or control an outcome. Both wounding and healing usually begin within, not from the outer conditions of our lives. We often believe we can be wounded only by others, but we do more damage to ourselves in the self-sabotaging ways we think and behave. It is important to take steps to heal yourself and become willing to release the pain of the past, which can be tempting to revisit. It's time to take responsibility for your part in the healing journey. Look for ways you can help yourself and others. Are you willing to make amends if needed, or conversely, accept someone where they are without trying to influence their growth process? Healing the heart in all aspects is your priority now. Nothing else matters. Only beauty and goodness will come as the result. I think that pretty much sums up a lot of this reading and the energy in general. Let's go on to Imperfect Harmony. Something else came to me as I was reading that. I lost it. It might come back. Imperfect Harmony. You're entering a time of healthy, harmonious partnerships. Collaboration is key here, as you're invited to explore the potential inherent in making a commitment to another person, a group, or even yourself. Know that you're bringing different gifts to the table. You don't have to be in exact locked steps with everyone else. Being your authentic self actually brings you into alignment with others. You are a note in a harmony that neither overpowers nor is overpowered by any other. Your beautiful interdependence allows you all to shine. Just keep an eye out for a sign that your subconscious, which has been conditioned by your previous hurts and experiences, is working in a way not in accord with what your healthy self intends. For example, you may desire a relationship but expect to be betrayed, so you unconsciously sabotage it. You say you want to lose weight but continue to eat compulsively and avoid exercise. In these moments, you are not attuned with yourself, and this disharmony spills out into all other parts of your life. If this is happening, you might want to take a hard look at yourself, do a self-inventory, forgive yourself, and then start singing a new song of self-love and acceptance. What's really great about this is how quickly you are now able to turn this around. Have no fear. It is so easy to get back in tune. All it takes is self-honesty and a willingness to heal. You can do it. This really is a fortunate time. And that is definitely in alignment with all of this. So, I mean, you can't make it up, right? We are working our way into perfect balance. It takes time. We have a lot to heal still, but these things are actually coming up for healing. So I hope that this is helpful for you guys. I know it's been helpful for me. And yeah, I'm going to jump into a little deeper into each of the zodiac, and I'll have those up throughout this week. So stay tuned for that as well. I'm sending you all out so much love. Take care. Bye.